organic, unpredictable, unknown, lovely, beautiful, a sense of fulfillment. This is part of the pleasures of life and not the chores of life.
Coming up tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
There will be something new in the sky for the next month that you don't want to miss.
And there's only 17 days left until Dance Marathon. We'll give you a look at the final steps next.
A couple of unlikely Iowa sports had big weekends. Find out more coming up in sports.
All that and more coming up.
Daily Iowan TV starts now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jeremy Meyer.
And I'm Brad Martin.
Iowa City West High School reported a bomb threat this morning. Around 8:30 a.m., the Iowa City Police received a call about an explosive device at the school. Students and staff evacuated campus and parents were able to pick up their kids. If parents couldn't make it by 11:20 a.m., the students were sent home on their regular bus routes. The high school was also a polling station for the Johnson County Supervisor Special Elections. The polling was relocated after the evacuation. The search went through the afternoon, but police found nothing suspicious in the school. Students were still allowed to participate in after-school activities.
Republican presidential candidate Marco Rubio visited Coralville last night. He spoke to more than 350 people about his potential plans for his first day in the White House. Those plans included repealing Obamacare and completely remodeling decisions passed by the Obama administration. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump also expects to make his headway in Iowa. Former Alaskan Governor Sarah Palin ran for Republican vice president in 2008 and is now endorsing Trump. He believes Palin's endorsement will help out with the Republican Party of Iowa and swing some of the Tea Party voters his way.
Now today marks only 17 days until the university's annual dance marathon. And with the clock ticking, dancers are working harder than ever to raise another record amount. Our very own Keaton Fuller went out to get the very latest on the days leading up to the big event.
Dance Marathon 22 is only a couple weeks away, and everyone involved is working harder than ever to make sure it all comes together. These last couple of weeks are crucial for dancers who are pulling out all the stops to meet a record goal of $2.4 million. In order to participate in the 24-hour dance last year, it was required that each dancer raise a minimum of $400 for the University of Iowa Children's Hospital. This year, however, that number was raised to $500.
We just know that we want to hit the 2.4 million because we made that our goal, and that's based off of the 20% increase that we want overall across the board. So that's 20% in numbers, 20% in recruitment, 20% in retention, merchandise, anything that you can do in the organization, we want it to increase by 20%.
Although Dance Marathon sees as many as 2,500 participants from the students and community each year, there's still a lot of work to be done.
It's go time, you know, it's time to get everything in gear and get everything ready. I don't think any of us consider it as work, so that always makes it a little bit more fun.
We will continue to keep you updated on how the organization reaches their $2.4 million goal this year, leading up to the big event on February 5th and 6th. Keaton Fuller, Daily Iowan TV.
Well, Jeremy, it's been a pretty cold start to the semester here.
That's right. As we began classes today, a lot of students bundled up, walking around downtown and in the other areas. For more, let's toss it over to the weather studio, where Becca is standing by.
As expected, the cold weather will continue. However, temperatures should be warming up into the low 20s as the week moves on. While the potential for frostbite lessens as the temperatures rise, we encourage students to cover up as much as possible when walking around campus. Wednesday, we're looking at morning temperatures in the mid-teens, warming into the mid-20s by afternoon. As we move into the evening, temperatures should fall back into the teens. Taking a look at the rest of the week, temperatures will rise Thursday with a high of 31 and a low of 19 with cloudy skies. Friday's temps will be about the same with a high of 30 and continued cloudy skies. We're looking at clear skies for the weekend with a high of 29 on Saturday, warming up slightly to 31 on Sunday. As Monday rolls around, we see one of our first chances of snow this semester with a high of 31 and a 40% chance of precipitation. But this snow isn't the only thing in the sky that you'll notice within the next few days. That's because the solar system will be giving us a show at dawn tomorrow. Morning, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Mars, and Jupiter will all be visible at the same time. This is the first time in 10 years the planets can be seen with the naked eye at the same time. They will align diagonally in the southeast sky. If you can't get out tomorrow, the event's predicted to last through February 20th. That's all I have in the weather studio. Back to you, Jeremy, at the desk.
Thanks, Becca. And you know, the planets are not the only things that will soon be visible in the sky. Amazon has big plans for their new airborne delivery system called Prime Air. The online superstore released new details of the 55-pound drones that will carry packages up to 5 pounds. They will reach customers within 30 minutes of placing an order. Amazon spoke to the Federal Aviation Administration about a new layer of airspace that will allow the package delivering drones to fly freely.
The new Hampshire building is well on its way to being completed. Daily Iowan TV's Sydney Zatz has the update.
Bills to tear down the old Hampshire building. It was a university decision. It was a building that served us well for over 40 years, but it was really kind of to the point that this building really needed a lot of changes in order to bring us into the 21st century. It's going to be a destination. It's going to be a place where students, where people from the community, where people really want to gather. It's going to be a fabulous facility.
For the past 8 years, 2 classes have graduated from Iowa without a building like Hampshire. Events have been spread out through Iowa City at places such as the Mabee Theater and the Englert Theater. The new Hampshire building will be a state-of-the-art building. It will have fewer seats to allow for a more intimate experience. There will also be an open house the weekend of the Iowa State football game in the fall. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Sydney Zath.
North Korea state media reports the development of an alcohol that won't kick you in the head the next morning. Koryo liquor is one of the country's most recent scientific claims.
Made with a mixture of plant extract, ginseng, and a type of sweet and sticky rice. The government reports that the alcohol has successfully taken away the post-drinking hangover. Actors and actresses are calling for a boycott after the Academy released the nominations for the 2016 Oscars. Its second year in a row with a ballot of all-white acting nominees. Spike Lee and Jada Pinkett Smith announced that they will not be attending the ceremony due to a lack of diversity. The president of the Academy responded saying the Academy's staff has improved in the last 4 years, but she said that change is not moving as fast as they'd like, and they need to do more and quickly. And how about Hawkeye basketball?
The men keep winning. Another game, another win. I think it's 7 in a row now for Fran McCaffrey and company. For more on Iowa sports, let's toss it over to the sports studio where Laura Belanda is standing by.
That's right, guys. A couple of sports that usually fly under the radar are sitting center stage tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Laura Belanda. The Iowa women's swimming and diving team made their way back to Iowa City this past weekend after coming off a training trip in Florida. Taylor Brooks was poolside on Saturday and tells us how the team is looking mid-season.
4 meets stand in between the Big Ten Championship for the Iowa women's swimming and diving team. As each weekend provides small steps to that very meet, it's all about progress for this team. And progress was made on Saturday when it was a border battle when Illinois stepped onto the pool deck in Iowa City.
How can each meet make us Big Ten champs? How can we sharpen up every event? How can we get a little bit faster? Each second counts. So how can we come together as a team and accomplish our goals?
The elite performer, junior Emma Sogstad, couldn't have said it any better. And Sogstad helped Iowa make marks towards those goals after snagging 2 of 3 individual races against Illinois.
We do have different expectations for her, so you hate to have that when you just expect them to step up and race well and win, and she certainly it does that.
It wasn't just short distance that put Iowa up on the orange and blue. It was long distance and a little help from freshman Abby Schneider, who took first place in the second event of the day, the 1,000-yard freestyle.
I was happy with the placing in 1,000, not really 500, because obviously I wanted to win, but I think it's pretty good for right now for coming back off of training camp and really hard training right now. 9
of 16 events belonged to Iowa, even with Illinois claiming the last 5 events in racing and diving. But with Iowa's early wins, the Hawks came out on top 174.5 to 125.5.
I felt we were a little sluggish, and we'll definitely have to get sharper here over the next few weeks to continue to get those wins. But overall, it's great to get the overall team win.
Iowa faces another Big Ten team next weekend when they head to Northwestern. Reporting inside the Campus Recreation and Wellness Center, Taylor Brooks, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
After Northwestern, the Lady Hawks head to the Shamrock Invitational in South Bend, Indiana on January 29th and 30th. One sport that isn't flying under the radar, though, is Iowa men's basketball. After claiming the 9th spot in the AP Top 25 poll this week, junior Peter Jock was named Big Ten Player of the Week after averaging 19.5 points in Iowa's last 2 games. Jock's improvement on both sides of the ball is why head coach Fran McCaffrey isn't surprised about the conference honor.
He's impacting the game at both ends of the floor. And you've heard me say this before, when he first, his game was a little sloppy. He would turn it over. He was a little lazy at times. And I'm just so proud of him and how he has figured out how to work and how to prepare and how to compete. And he's made himself an elite player.
Iowa heads to Rutgers next. We'll have more on that matchup on Thursday's show. The Iowa women's gymnastics team had a busy weekend, beginning with a Big Ten road victory at Michigan State. But they fell short to Denver here at home. Katie Reber tells us what might have went wrong against that Colorado team.
Iowa women's gymnastics team took on Michigan State on Friday and headed back to Carver to host Denver on Monday. With 2 meets in just 4 days, this team fell to Denver by just over 1 point.
We just competed on Friday night, drove home through the night, trained yesterday. It's not something we've done with this team, so if I'm being completely honest with myself, that's exactly what I expected them to do. I think they're a little bit tired. I think they're not quite sure because we're using a lot of young kids in the lineup. I'm not sure that they know very well how to pace themselves. Some things were great, so much better, but then some things kind of fell by the wayside.
There were little things that we missed, but it's a process.
I think we did a great job. We still had a few mistakes here and there, but it was incredible.
Despite having a few areas to work on, the Gym Hawks boasted 7 season bests during the meet and attribute their success to a warm Carver crowd.
Felt incredible. Our home crowd is awesome, and it's nice to have everyone back too.
We love having home meets. This is the best place to compete. Carver is awesome. Coming out of the tunnel and seeing the people that are always here, it's so amazing. So we really like it.
As always, this team sticks together and builds off each other's successes.
We're one team. When someone goes down, we just tap them on the back and not worry because we know we're going to hit. So.
From Carver Hawkeye Arena, this is Katie Reber, Daily Iowan TV Sports.
This team has another short turnaround as they host Ohio State on Saturday night at Carver Hawkeye Arena. It's all Iowa wrestling tomorrow as we check in with one wrestler who flew under the radar in his high school days, and hear from the team as they get set for another Big Ten opponent on Friday night. That's it for me in the sports studio. Back to you at the desk.
Before we let you go this evening, check this out. This is Spock. He's a 27-pound Maine Coon cat, which is a domestic breed. We found this photo on the Facebook page titled Spock and His Friends. He lives in California in San Jose and is getting lots of attention because of his bobcat-like appearance. His owner says that people have mistaken him for a wild animal and threatened to call animal control when they saw him. His hobbies include stretching out on people's laps and playing floor hockey.
It's quite the big cat there.
It definitely is.
Well, that's all the time we have for you tonight on Daily Iowan TV.
Be sure to check out our website, dailyiowan.com, for all the latest news. For Daily Iowan TV, I'm Bradley Martin.
And I'm Jeremy Meyer. Have a great night.